Ndugu yangu Ekuru, good morning.
Morning, Bitok.
How are you? Salama sana. Good to see you again. Watu wanashinda wakiniambia leta Ekuru. Na hii utaleta hii punguza yako tena tupunguze punda.
Wanasemaje Wakenya? Unataka kupunguza mzigo eh?
Wakenya wanasema wanataka kupunguza mzigo.
Kabisa.
Good to see you.
Lakini kuna watu waongeza mzigo hapo leo umeleta kwa studio.
Ndio nimekuletea mtu leo. Akwambie mzigo anaongeza ni ya kazi gani?
Tuambie waliambiwa wapi.
Ulisikia wapi? Look, good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Good to see you. How are you doing? Wewe unasema unataka kuongeza mzigo vipi?
Si kuongeza mzigo. Ni make sure that mzigo umesambazwa.
Ikuwe mingi zaidi.
Hapana. Kila mtu ashikilia mzigo kidogo, Kenya isonge mbele.
Alright. Unajua ndio mgeni hapa. So nitakupa nafasi ujiintroduce kabla ya Ekuru wajadili na wewe.
Kama unagawia watu mizigo, unawaweka mizigo.
And I need to warn you. Kuna jamaa mwenzako alikuja hapa jana. Unajua alifikiria ni TV unaongeanga unaenda. Amelimu hapa mpaka akasema it has been a very long day. So unajua ikuuzie watu BBI ni ngumu sana. Ni kazi ngumu. But anyway, since you are a visitor here, wewe ni mgeni, ni mtu wetu hapa. I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Muleka Kizito Ojambo Muleka. I'm the founder and managing director of Science Media Kenya Limited. Science Media Kenya Limited has two products. Product number one is Science TV that broadcasts in sign language with voice as an override. And product number two is Assistol. Assistol is a sign language application that we launched in response to COVID. And what happens is it allows sign language interpreters to access a deaf person in isolation without necessarily being in that particular room. Because what you realize is if a deaf person was to be served by an interpreter, and the interpreter is in full PPEs in terms of masks and everything, there will be no communication. So what we did is we launched this product to be able to serve, to have the interpreter with the doctor to have seamless communication in case a deaf person is in isolation. So this was launched in September, and I believe that is going to change the life of deaf people and to access employment, to access higher education, to access everything that is post-COVID. Okay. Yeah, that is the brief description of who I am. And I come from Busia County.
Unatoka Busia?
Ndio.
Nifikiri unatoka Ukambani, nimesikia makao sijui, nimesikia Mutua na
Kizito.
Muleka. Kizito ni jina ya Kiluya.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's shared.
It's shared.
It's a shared name because it's a Christian name, Catholic, the Ugandan martyrs. So what happens is people who got confirmation in the Catholic system, those who got confirmation in that particular year, most of us were called Kizito. Okay. So apparently it's a name that I took in. It has really stuck.
So someone was trying to inspire priesthood in you. Kino kaamua ndio kuja kufanya sana kwa. Oe, tuende kazi. Ekuru, jana nimesikia BBI imepigwa pause. Ni nini inaendelea pale?
Reggae has stopped.
Umesikia maneno?
Reggae has stopped.
Ni nini ilifanyika huko?
I think there are two things that have stopped reggae. It's just that the fellows at BBI are in denial and they don't want to accept that. I find it very irresponsible that leaders will be trying to assemble Kenyans during this time. To collect signatures at a time when there is COVID-19. The spread is real now. This phase 2 of COVID is a real challenge actually to the world, not just to Kenya. I see other countries that have got superior and high-tech healthcare system, really struggling. I mean, they're going under lockdown. Countries like UK, France, Austria, US, people are now dying. I think they are now at about 280-something plus deaths. So that stopped reggae in the first instance. And then, of course, the second thing that stopped reggae is the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya will not buy into the lies that is BBI. And I'm really happy that Kizito today will talk to us about BBI, because I want to listen very keenly. Because Kenyans are opposed to it. In fact, even if you do a poll right now, I mean, even just conduct a poll, Bitok, you'll be shocked how Kenyans are wondering, how can anybody now be talking to them about a referendum that is costing billions? I think I'm told something like what, 14 billion plus? Billions at a time when we are talking about how do we revive the economy, how do we actually ensure there's a healthcare infrastructure that caters for everyone. Yesterday, we lost an MCA in London Ward, Nakuru. The week before, we lost an MP, Murunga of Matungu. The other week again, we lost 7 medics doctors, for lack of PPEs. So really the question for me, and this is why I think reggae has stopped and it must stop, is what are really our priorities in the country right now? You know, as a parent, our children must still go to school. But it looks now, it's clear right now that we actually need IT technology. IT is no longer a luxury. It's become a basic human right. Just like countries like, say, Macedonia and others declare them as a basic human right. Because life has to go on.
Yeah.
We in the legal fraternity now, you must file your court papers online. So we have to think about IT in each and every part of this country. We have to think about education. We have to think about how we revive the economy. Small businesses have collapsed. People are being sold every day. In fact, if you look at the newspapers, Bitok, I mean, Kizito, auctioneers are auctioning people. But there's nobody to buy.
Moses Kuria.
Moses Kuria. You see, after Moses Kuria, hawezi kununuliwa. You've seen governors like akina Waiguru, wakona mashida sijia kulipa 40 million. Ni kubaya, boss. Ni kubaya. So during this time, so the question really that has stopped reggae, and I think Kenyans are asking, what really is our priority as a country right now? And maybe this is a question I think Kizito might want to answer for us, because he is pro BBI. Is BBI actually a priority for Kenyans now? And I keep on repeating a wisdom of Honorable Caleb Kositany. He kept on saying, tukikata BBI hakuna mtu atakufa.
Nobody will die.
Tukipuuza corona, watu watakufa. You know? So if you don't take care of corona and its impacts, we will die. The world is dying. So for me, really, the question I think that has also stopped, BBI is what are the priorities for Kenya? But there's another reason actually why BBI has stopped. What is BBI? Where can you posit BBI in the structure of governance today? You see, Otiende Amolo, very disappointingly, I mean, a lawyer I had respect for, because we sat with him in the committee of experts, we wrote the constitution together, gave a very lame excuse that the reason they have stopped signature collection is because the bill is not published. But what he did not want to tell Kenyans is who is to publish that bill. The reason the bill cannot be published or even gazetted is because it lacks status in the current structure of governance. If, for example, this bill came through the parliamentary initiative under Article 256, Justin Muturi, the Speaker of National Assembly, will cause it to be gazetted. If it's a government-sponsored bill, the Attorney General will cause it to be gazetted. If it was, from the Senate, Lusaka will cause it to be gazetted. And the reason it has stopped because, as I said before, BBI is unconstitutional. It is amorphous, it's directionless, it's repetitive. It is nothing actually new about what ails this country. Because for you to change the constitution of Kenya, you must pursue either of two ways. Parliamentary initiative, which is provided for in Article 256, meaning that you actually have to sponsor a bill, Kizito, through Parliament. But wanajua huko mambo kimeumana kule bunge, because the parliament is completely divided, the leadership is divided. There is no direction in this country. The second way you can amend the constitution of Kenya is through Article 257, which is through what's called popular initiative. In other words, you come with general propositions, which you take to the people. Like the way Punguza Mizigo did. We came with about 15, 16 proposals last year. We took to the people. We asked them, do you agree we must reduce members of parliament? Do you agree we must send more money to the county? Do you agree we must end corruption? Do you agree that if you are at the age of 18 as a Kenyan, you must automatically be a registered voter? Do you reduce the commissions? All those things, And Kenyans agreed with us, and they gave us 1.2 million signatures. And that's why I drafted the Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019 Constitutional Amendment Bill. So the publication, to answer Otiende Amolo, because this is what he's not telling Kenyans, can be caused by IEBC. Because once IEBC confirms that you have actually reached the threshold of 1 million supporters, of registered voters supporting your constitutional amendment process, then they cause the bill to go to the county assemblies for debate. That's an aspect of publication. So BBI is struggling, and I think I really want to hear from Kizito. BBI is struggling. What is who is to publish BBI?
You know, my little bird, you know, I have birds all over. So my little bird was telling me yesterday what happened the other day is that the ODM guys went to State House for a meeting. Wakati walifika State House wakapata ni wao peke yao who were in that meeting in State House the other day. So I understand Baba was there at around 11 a.m. Jioni akaenda akarudi. So the other guys were not showing up because the bill was supposed to be discussed and forwarded for publication. So the other guys are insisting that this thing must be edited before it goes. What needs to be edited is not clear. Whether it's the executive or the issues of the MPs and all that is left to time. But I think there's also suspicion that is coming in. Nasikia Baba saizi ni mgonjwa zaidi. I don't know. This is just information I'm giving. Nasikia Baba nasikia kama amechezwa. Like now this guy wants to play us and play the other guy and come and play us or buy time. Because when it gets to 2021, who still wants to?
But you know what I'm thinking, I'm thinking maybe wisdom has eventually reigned on Uhuru Kenyatta to realize he BBI is not uniting Kenyans. It will be bad of his. It will be one of his bad, legacy, items. That honestly, if BBI today cannot even unite the leadership of the country, because the idea of BBI, I think let's give it to them. It was noble. The idea that let's build bridges among Kenyan society. It was a good thing. It was a good thing. I think it's a good philosophy. And for me, I had no problem with it at all. I want to jump in. But I had a problem, Kizito, you'll come in.
I'll let you jump in very soon.
I had a problem when they lied to Kenyans that BBI is aimed to establish what ails this country. And I keep on asking this question, and I think Kizito can respond when he jumps in. Why are we not implemented, Kizito, the TJRC report, Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report? Why are we not implementing the Kriegler report? Why are we not implementing the Waki report, the CPEV report, the Akiumi report, Ouko report, and many, many others? And we listed in our letter, by the way, to Joseph Kenywa, the head of public service, about 9 reports, commissions that have actually established the problem with Kenya. Ndungu Commission on land irregular and illegal land allocation. Kwa nini to implement these reports? Then, because that's exactly what ails Kenya. And one of the things that BBI is not telling us, and I want Kizito actually to respond to that specifically, in 2017, some of the current proponents of BBI actually caused violence in this country. They mobilized their supporters. I don't know whether you remember Machozi Monday. There was that Machozi Monday, disrupting businesses, causing chaos in Nairobi. BBI is not telling us how do we deal with people like those ones who are actually causing problems in this country. Because they're the ones who are breaking bridges. Instead of saying to us that let's build bridges, what about the bridges that were broken? Who broke them? Kwa nini hao watu tusiambiwe how to deal with them? BBI is glossing through the real issues that are affecting this country, including, for example, just poverty, including corruption. They're not telling us how. I mean, Punguza Mizigo was very clear on that. Anyway, Kizito, you can now jump in.
You can jump in.
Thank you very much, Bitok and Daktari. I would like to pick this from what you've asked, and it's what Bitok asked. It's a very good question. Is our priorities right? And I would like to borrow this from even the developed economies like the US. There is, in fact, the number of deaths that have occurred in the US are much more than the number of deaths that have occurred in Kenya. But the question is, did the US stop its election simply because there was COVID? One, there is... we are
not in an election here, Kizito.
That's what I'm saying. If I want to say...
So that comparative is not
talk
right.
About BBI. BBI did not start during COVID. It is something that was started way before, and I would say that just immediately after our 2017 divisive elections. That's when our leaders, that is the president and President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga came together, and they decided that they asked themselves, and this was explained way before even the COVID-19, that what is it that is ailing this country? And the answers were very clear. The answers were that our system of politics, whereby the winner takes it all, is something that is actually causing the country to get to a level whereby everyone is fighting to get it, so that I get it all and deny the other. And the question they asked themselves was, can we have a situation whereby no one feels left behind, or no one is left behind? And in the development space, whereby we are also working around persons with disabilities, and the question has been, should we leave anyone behind in anything we are doing? And when they realize with their own wisdom that the current system of politics is factoring very many people out, then it's causing a situation whereby it's a do or die duel in the country during politics. So they came up with what I would say to offer leadership. And to offer leadership was that let us look at a modality or a mechanism that is going to unite this country together. And the uniting of this country, having also studied, it starts with what's happening at the top. Because they know very well that in Kenya, and everyone and all the listeners right now know that in Kenya, the leaders of particular communities shape the emotions and and even the conversations around the direction that these communities will follow. So the question was, if we are able to unite at the top as leaders, how is it going to be beneficial to the country? Then I go to the other thing that I normally I've coined this for myself, and I'm saying that the leadership or the political class in this country, what we've been having is whereby people have taken their business to be that the business of this country or the business of politics is the continuous existence of a problem and not solving. So when the leadership of President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga comes together and they say that let's bring our people together so that we solve this thing that is causing this problem so that it does not continue to be there, then you'll find that now my friend here, Daktari, will start now again opposing the same thing. He was in the committee of experts. In fact, they crafted 2010 constitution and they brought it to us, in which we voted for it. Unless he's telling us, or you are telling us, that actually what you gave us was substandard, and you should apologize to the public of Kenya on why, in your own wisdom, you could actually let the Kenyan public to pass such a document that within 10 years it has such monumental errors that are actually now taking again everyone back to where we are. The other thing is,
please explain the monumental errors in the constitution. So let's not lie to Kenyans.
So what I'm saying is, you are, in fact, having been in the committee of experts, you are the first person even to publish an amendment. I mean that the Punguza Mizigo initiative that you had stated. So why were you publishing this? Because you wanted to correct something, a mischief, or what you felt in the constitution that was not adequately addressing the current situation of the Kenyan public. But Daktari, in your own wisdom, you cannot pass a document or afford to the Kenyans to adopt a document like the constitution that 10 years later on it has such issues that again you are the first one to jump on the queue and bring the constitutional amendment through your Punguza Mizigo initiative. Then the other thing that
Kizito, can I come have a quick rejoinder before you proceed? Because it's important that we don't lie to Kenyans. First of all, I believe you're a Christian.
Yes, I am.
And I think as a Christian, you ought to know that the only documents we may not be able to amend are the Bible, the Quran, and all other holy books. But the Constitution is actually a negotiated instrument. So in the process of constitution making, Kizito, just in case maybe, I assume actually from your assertion, it's clear you never read the process of constitution making process in Kenya, you never read the reports, because there are, even in the committee of experts, in our last report, we actually told Kenyans, this document is a negotiated instrument. There are certain things we can agree with right now. It's a compromise. When you're making a constitution, by the way, there are things that, it's about consensus building. There are certain things that you can put in the constitution. There are certain things that you cannot. There's a whole debate all over the world about the process of constitution making. A constitution can be very prescriptive, or it can just be a set of principles and values. Now, if you look at the society we call Kenya today, in fact, right now, if I was to make the Kenyan constitution again, trust me, Kizito, I will not leave it to the politician. If you look at almost every chapter of our constitution, it says, Parliament shall enact legislation to bring into effect this chapter. An example I'll give you is chapter 6 on leadership and integrity. Okay? In leadership and integrity, we have set up the values and principles as a committee of experts. I don't know whether you remember the harmonized draft of November 2010. In that harmonized draft, we had actually prescribed the character and type of leader that Kenyans want. And by the way, one of the geniuses of Kenya's constitution is that chapter, leadership and integrity, because Kenyans are saying, to the entire world. And I want you to look at a website called constituteproject.org. You'll find all constitutions of the world there. And Kenya, surprisingly, is the only country that has dedicated an entire chapter on the kind of leaders that they want. But we did not have the nitty-gritties of what kind of leader do we need. So we said, let Parliament do that. Article 104, if you recall, the recall clause, it's called the recall clause, where a member of Parliament, if he goes there and just slumbers and anazembea kazini, you can actually recall that leader and fire them. Then we said Parliament shall pass legislation to bring into effect what? This chapter. What did the parliamentarians do? The first thing they did, they killed chapter 6 because it was targeting at them. Article 104, they killed it because now you are asking them, ni kama kufungia mbuzi na fisi in the same pen. You know, so surely if a hyena eats a goat the following day, surely why should it be surprised?
Na kusema it is a hyena which will decide what to have for dinner.
So again, Kizito, it's important that we read the constitution, because what I'm saying to you is this. I'm not saying our Kenyan constitution is perfect.
True.
Surely there is no perfect constitution in the world. It's like you saying, you know, why are we not perfect? Wewe si ulizaliwa uchi, saizi naona unavaa trouser, unavaa swi nini, alafu hata kuna wakati ulikuwa unavaa kinyasa, lakini siku hizi unavaa trouser. So it's like saying, why didn't you at birth wear a suit like the way you are dressed up? Ukiangalia Bitok saizi amevaa mpaka labels na hizo juu the taco.
Jimo brand man.
Brand, najua ni brand. Lakini kama kuuliza, why didn't
I was not born with a tackle jacket?
Exactly. So I think let's agree one thing, Kizito, even as we educate our supporters. A responsible constitution maker will ensure that there are mechanisms in the very, very constitution on how you actually change the constitution. And that is explained, Kizito, very well in Article 255, 256, and 257. And for me, one of my bone of contention with your BBI report and process is, surely, Kizito, which process are you following? So you tell Kenyans, because if you want to change the constitution of Kenya, you must tell Kenyans, I'm going through by parliamentary initiative or popular initiative. And that's part of the confusion of BBI. But there's another question you raised, which is very fundamental. And again, it's fundamental because it's a lie. Yeah, and this is the lie. At the national level, let's bring people together because that's unity. That's a lie, Kizito. Kenya, let's deconstruct Kenya. What we call the national in Kenya is the 47 counties of Kenya. It is the 1450 wards of Kenya. It is the 47 million Kenyans. And they are all in the counties. Counties today in Kenya are very representative. You come from Busia. And in Busia actually is a very perfect example. You have a governor from a minority community, the Iteso.
Yes.
You have a senator from the Populace, Amos Wako.
Yes.
You have got a woman rep, you know, actually Mutua, Akamba. So really, in terms of even representation, unity, Busia is a perfect example of how actually people can actually come together and be united around leadership. So the problem you are advancing, Kizito, and let's be honest with Kenyans, there are individuals in this country, since independence or whatever, who have got this politics of entitlement that kama sio wao, Kenya cannot move forward. And these are the people you still call them prime minister. There is no a prime minister position in Kenya today. You know, that was disbanded. William, why is this country being defined around a few individuals? Ati kama si, like now, Kizito was even telling us earlier, actually Punguza Mizigo was a good document. Lakini what he's not telling Kenyans is because it was being promoted by Ekuru Aukot. But I'm sure if Punguza Mizigo was promoted by William Ruto or Raila or Uhuru Kenyatta, we will have seen the light of day. So the problem in Kenya we need to discuss, Kizito, is this politics of entitlement. Some individuals who think they own Kenya. Ni kama wako na title deed ya country. It's like the rest of us are just chattels. We are like just, like furniture in a house called Kenya. You can be moved here, moved there, sold.
They rearrange you at will.
So that for me is the problem, Kizito. Because today, honestly, if you think about the way Kenya is arranged, I don't see the point of actually saying, for example, you must amend the constitution to give help loans to students. I went to university at a time when under the old constitution, and we got help. It was an administrative issue. I don't need to amend the constitution to give me a tax holiday. That's an administrative issue. In fact, taxes change almost every year. Every time you have a budget, Kizito, Minister for Finance, makes arrangements on taxation and stuff. So, tusidanganya wa Kenya. What I would like us really, and I hope the TACO can actually, promote this idea. Can we have a candid conversation? Let's not be convenient politically or expedient that, because we want to advance a certain idea, because of a certain individual, so hata tudanganya wa Kenya. I don't think it's right. Me, I just want us to have a honest conversation as a country and actually to be proud of our country that we all call Kenya, and let's try to make it better for everyone. Because I'm sure guys in the diaspora today who are listening to this show, Bitok, will tell you that in the countries where they are, be it UK, ukiuliza kina Benon Minor who are in the UK, others in Australia, the US, systems work. Is actually plug and play. If you ask my friend Manu in Switzerland, it's plug and play. People don't care by the anymore, Kizito, about in the rest of the world, about, for example, who becomes the president or whatever. Because systems at the bottom work. And this is where, for me, I was promoting the idea in Punguza Mizigo, let's have the 1450 wards of Kenya as the primary units of accelerating development. So that in each and every ward, you actually tick the box that do we have electricity running, water, hospitals, schools, job opportunities for the youth. Once we have that, Kizito, wacha nikwambie, hata ng'ombe anaweza kuwa rais and nobody will care.
Actually, there's a question for Kizito, and someone is asking, he's saying, ask Bitok, can you ask Kizito to tell us in his own wisdom if BBI is uniting Kenyans, and let him substantiate, because it's clear there isn't any uniting aspect in that BBI thing. Maybe you can just expound on what you're talking about unity, because that was a point actually you picked out on Ekuru.
Okay, thank you very much
the
for
mechanisms
that
of
question.
unity.
And what I want to bring out of this whole debate of BBI and what we are having right now is, can this country ever have leadership whereby everybody can say we have leadership? I would like to go back to Daktari's Punguza Mizigo initiative. How did he even try to bring the leadership? Trust me, we have leadership in this country, and the people of Kenya know that we have leadership. So the question is, how deep did he reach out even to have people to discuss and say that, yes, this is what we have and this is what we want to put in, so that, because another thing is, it might be that when you find Bitok promoting something, it's bad. But when I start promoting it, it's good. So that is one of the things whereby there is, we are not trusting our leaders to give us direction, because what's happening, everyone wants to be a leader. So if all the 47 million Kenyans want to be leaders, then again they are blaming whatever is being proposed by any other person is being watered down. Then it becomes a problem. So the thing is, can this country coalesce and have people to give strategic leadership? And strategic leadership can be given through representation, which the people of Kenya have given the mandate through parliament. But again, when you go to parliament, the agenda that sometimes gets driven, it's totally, you get that divisiveness. So that's why I went back and said that we got two people who asked themselves pertinent questions. Why should we be having vicious issues that are every time bringing our development back? When elections are almost coming, then you find that even investment in the country, the foreign direct investment, is actually scaled down because people don't know how Kenya will behave. Can we have a country whereby you know that I am going to Kenya, just the way Ekuru has said, that hata ng'ombe ikiwa president Kenya, no one cares.
Nobody will care.
Can we have that system whereby, and this is what President Uhuru Kenyatta asked the country when the first time we met, they met at Bomas, that tuliulizana na rafiki yangu or my brother, that can we have a country whereby kila wakati, si ati ikiwa wakati tunakura and everything has to get to a standstill for almost 2 years, whereby you find that you are a president, yes, you get elected, but you only work for 2.5 years. The other 2.5 years is just politics, because everyone is doing what is actually...
That is in the first term, normally, in the first term.
It happens.
No, it's normally in the first term, Kizito.
But we find that
because
elections are coming
2.5
after.
years, they are trying to get re-elected. But like now in the second term, and I think maybe you need to answer the question from Nani, Honorable Jules, is saying, how do you bring people together, pushing others away? And this is really a fundamental question that's being asked about BBI, and I think Kizito need to come out clean on this. BBI, let me put it in a simple, let me contextualize it. Kama BBI cannot even unite William Ruto, Uhuru, and Raila, and some of the top leadership. How can it unite 47 million Kenyans?
And I want to answer.
Please respond to that.
I want to answer this way.
Because you see, this is a lie that, for example, today, if Uhuru wanted to create a government of national unity, Article 130, let me just for the avoidance of doubt, let me just confirm. Article 130 of the Kenya Constitution says as following, Bitok. I mean, that's why it's important to read this Katiba.
And that's why I get you guys Katiba. New
Katibas
Katibas every week.
Ekuru Aukot. No. Let's read Katiba. The National Executive, Article 130 says, the National Executive of the Republic comprises the President, the Deputy President, and the rest of the Cabinet. And this article answers the lie that Kizito is trying to tell Kenyans now and BBI people that, oh, let's have BBI because it will unite Kenyans. In sub-article 2, it says, the composition of the National Executive shall reflect the regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya. Now,
What's stopping?
What is stopping the president exercising his power, presidential authority in this Katiba, and actually create a national executive that comprises the regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya? Because Kizito and his BBI people have not read Katiba, let me explain this to him. When we were making the Constitution, one of the things that we debated is how do we actually answer the question that these people are lying to Kenyans about right now, creating national unity. You know what we said? We said that the national executive should not be more than 22 cabinet ministers. Yeah? Now, if you are really a leader who wants to unite the country, Kizito, can't you read the formula? 22 cabinet. If I was in charge, if I was running this country today, and I want to invoke Article 130 of the Constitution, you know what I will do? I will elect the first 22 ministers from 22 different tribes of Kenya. Because Kenyans right now, we have 44 ethnic communities. Actually, it's like we had seen far. By that time, by the Makonde had not even been acknowledged. As the Makonde has not
people
not been recognized, and the Asians have not been recognized as a tribe in Kenya. We were talking about 42 ethnic tribes. So, if you truly want to unite Kenyans, and I think this is, for me, a question that I could ask Uhuru, what has stopped him using his executive authority as president to appoint 22 different ethnic communities as cabinet ministers first? Then the second appointment, another 22 different permanent secretaries from different ethnic communities. You will have the face of Kenya. And no community will feel left out. Now, ujaenda bado kwa ambassadors, ujaenda bado kwa directors of parastatals, chairman of parastatals, special envoys. So, let's stop lying to Kenyans. And Kizito, to quite honest, we just have a lackluster leadership, fakeless leadership that does not care, that wants to reward its political cronies during election. And then you have people who have refused to accept democracy. In a democracy, there has to be a loser and a winner in an election. Yeah? And when you lose an election, so you have to organize what we say, lazima nikuwe kwa serikali. It means you don't even accept democracy. And I remember, for example, in 2017, Kizito, I'm sure you are in the country and you voted. Clearly did not vote me, but it's okay. On a light note. Yeah. So in 2022, we used the Constitution to nullify the election. And I just want to explain to you why you guys are supporting 2017, sorry. Yeah. 2017, we used the Constitution to nullify the election. We said there was irregularity in the transmission of results. And we invoked Article 140, sub-article 3 of the Constitution. And Justice Maraga and the Supreme Court actually nullified the Constitution.
The elections.
The election. We were told, if you recall, Maraga even said, go for a repeat election. If they repeat the same mistake, come here again, and I will nullify. True or false?
True or false?
Then one of the people now, who these people are saying actually wants to unite the country, refused to participate in that election. And we really must call these people out, because these are the people who are actually killing the country. They are the people who are lying to people like Kizito and telling them that until mimi niko serikalini ati hakuna amani itaonekana kwa hii nchi. Kizito, kubali kushindwa. Ukikubali kushindwa, let the person who has won. Asi hata mimi nilishindwa. Bitoka tu ulienda huko ukasimama ukanyoroshwa kama
kanyorosha na tukarudi tu pale
tukarudi
tuko hapa.
tukaendelea
Hatujatafuta bibi huko. Ya kusema no winner takes it all.
No winner takes it all. So in a democracy, Kizito, let's accept this is a loser, and then once you lose, that's why we have structures such as opposition, have alternative government policies. Unaona? So that, for example, you look at the way, by the way, let me give me an example of the United States of America. Today, one of the reasons why Trump lost the election is the manner in which he handled COVID. Yeah?
Sure.
He politicized the wearing of a mask. He will go to rallies, no mask, no nini. And people, on the other hand, were seeing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were emphasizing on wearing the mask. So they saw them as responsible leadership. No. So an opposition, you don't have to be in government. Kama saizi kwa kusema kweli, truth be told. We have killed opposition in Kenya.
Opposition is in government.
Opposition is in government. This is the only time in the history of this country, Kizito, that we have a government that is opposing itself.